Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. Well, today's lesson is going to be about conditional type 2. So, here we go. My lesson today will be in 4 parts. For part number 1, we are going to deal with examples so that we can have an idea about the lesson of today. In the second part, we are going to extract the structures from the examples we are going to see. In the third part, we are going to deal with the use. And finally, we are going to practice some exercises. So let's start with the examples. We have a dialogue between two people. What would you do if you could travel back in time? سفر عبر الزمن إلى الماضي. If I could travel back in time, I would spend more time with my grandfather. Great. Example number 2. What would you do if you met an alien? If I met an alien, I would invite him for a cup of coffee. Next example. What would happen if you were the last person on Earth? If I were the last person on Earth, I would be very scared. Let's deal with more examples and then we are going to explain the situation. Great. Let's look at the picture here. We have a helicopter, right? Okay. So if I had $1 million, I would buy a helicopter. In reality, do I have this amount of money? Do I have $1 million? No, I don't. That's why I can't buy a helicopter. Because buying a helicopter needs a lot of money. So it is impossible now for me to buy a helicopter. It is too costly. Next example. Do you remember this character, Superman? We used to watch it when we were kids, right? So, if I were Superman, I would fly in the sky. Can this ordinary person in fact fly? No, it is impossible. It's a kind of dream. It is a situation which is unlikely to happen in the present. It's something which is very impossible. We can't simply fly. Next, if I were you, I would go to that meeting, which means I am not in fact you. So it is impossible in the present. It's a kind of advice. If I were you, I would go, which means I said it's better to go to that meeting. But in reality, I am not you. It's up to you at the end whether to go or not to go. Great. So we have seen now examples, and now comes time to extract the structure of conditional type 2. I think now you can have an idea about the structure of conditional type 2. But before that, we're going to help each other with this example. If I had 60,000 dirhams now, I would buy a car. Maybe that's all I need to buy a car. But do I have this amount of money? No, I don't have this amount of money. So I can't buy this car. So let's extract the structure or the rule for conditional type 2 from this example. Look here. We have F clause and then we have main clause. Great. We have F plus subject then verb in the very good simple past. And here we have comma, we have subject, would plus verb in the base form. Great. So this is the structure. F plus subject plus simple past of the verb and then comma, subject, would, and verb in the infinitive without to. Remember, we can also use could instead of would or might instead of would. It depends on the context we have. If, for example, we have can in the context, we need to use could. And if we have may in the context, we need to use might instead of would. We will see this while practicing. So we have past simple with F and would plus verb in the infinitive without to. Great. So actually this is the structure of conditional sentence type 2. Yes, we have F clause and the main clause. F followed by a comma and then the main clause. But careful, we can also have this possibility. We can start with the main clause and then followed by F clause. What changed here? What changed, as you see, is the order. We did not start with F clause, we started with the main clause, then followed by the F clause. And also, if we start with F clause, we need to put a comma. But here, if we start with the main clause, no comma. Okay, remember this. If you start with F, put a comma. If we start with the main clause, don't put a comma. Great. Like in here, we can have two possibilities here. It is possible to say, if I had $1 million, comma, I would buy a Ferrari. Also, it is possible to say, I would buy a Ferrari if I had $1 million. You see? We have changed only the order. We did not start with F, we start with the main clause, and we don't use the comma if we start with the main clause. Another example, we can say, if I were rich, I would travel around the world, and also this way is possible. I would travel around the world if I were rich. No comma. Very good job. Now it's time to deal with the use. We can use the conditional type 2 to express a dream. For example, if I had a car, I would drive it every day. But in fact, or in reality, I don't have a car, so I can't drive it every day. It's a kind of dream. Use number 2. We can use conditional type 2 to talk about an impossible or to express an impossible present event. For example, we can say, if I were a bird, I would fly in the sky. It is impossible to be a bird. It's unlikely to happen. It's something which is not true. It's impossible. The last use to talk about a present or future situation which are unlikely to happen. For example, if I won $1 million, I would stop working. So here I am talking about a present situation which is unlikely to happen. It's too far to happen. Let's go back to these two examples. If I were a bird, I would fly in the sky. And if he were Superman, he would fly in the sky. In fact, look at the verbs used with F. Were and were. Both are verb to be, right? They are in past. Very good. But look at the pronoun. Look at the subject here. We have I. Normally, we put was with I. We don't put were. But with conditional type 2, we use were instead of was with the all personal pronouns, even with I, he, she, and it. So with conditional type 2, we don't use was, we use were. So careful, and remember, were is often used instead of was in the first and third person singular, with I, with he, with she, and with it. So now it's time to practice. I want you now to pause the video for 2 minutes or 3, and then once you are ready, you go back for the correction. So rewrite the sentences beginning with the words given. If you are asked to start with F, look for the condition. And if you are asked to start with the main clause, look for the result. Right? So here, where is the condition? The condition is she is exhausted. So the result, she can't go to the party. So if she weren't exhausted, she could go to the party. Well done. Let's move to example number 2. He's not younger to take that job, which means he's old for the job. Right. So we start here with the main clause. So what is the result? The result, so he can't take the job. The condition is to be young, right? So we can say he would take that job if he were younger. Example number 3. I don't have time to make you a birthday cake, right? As you see here, she is very busy. So we need to start with if, which means we need to look for the condition. Then comes the result. Where is the condition here? Right? Great. The condition is having time. She doesn't have time, right? So if I had time, I would make you a birthday cake. Very good job. Number 4. I don't know the answer to that question, so I can't tell you. As you see here, we need to start with the main clause, not with the if clause. So we need to look for the result. The result, I can't tell you. So I can say, I could tell you what? I could tell you the answer to that question if I, very good, knew, very good. I could tell you the answer to that question if I knew. Last sentence, you have so many accidents because you don't drive more carefully. So we need to start our sentence with if, which means with the if clause, with the condition. The condition is you don't drive carefully, to drive careful. The condition is to drive carefully, right? So if you drove more carefully, you would not have many accidents. If you drove carefully, you wouldn't have many accidents. Well done. It's a homework, right? You are going to practice this activity at home, and then, yes, then you may share your answers, yes, in the comment place, okay? Just to share the answers with each other, to see to what extent you grasp the lesson. So I will read the examples for you and then leave your answers in the comments, right? Number 1, you don't understand her because she doesn't speak more clearly. Start with if. Sentence number 2, he doesn't get up early, so he doesn't get to work on time. Start the sentence with if. Number 3, you don't earn more money because you don't advertise your products. Start with if. I don't know his address, so I can't post it to him. If, yes, finish it. The last one, number 5, I don't want to eat because I'm not hungry. So I hope the lesson or this video has explained the lesson for you. And thank you for your attention. See you next video, inshallah. Thank you very much.